For me, kayak fishing is simple. A boat, a paddle, a fishing rod, and unspoiled water. The fish are big. The chaos is beautiful. It's angling's addictive final frontier, and I'm hooked. I'm Drew Gregory, and this is Hooked on Wild Waters.
Drew Gregory's Hooked on Wild Waters has been brought to you by River Bassin Tournament Trail. No egos, just fun. Jackson Kayak, we make fun. GoPro, be a hero. Bending Branches, pretty, smart paddles. Orion Coolers, never lose your cool. 13 Fishing, make your own luck. Z-Man Lures, the science and art of fishing.
Drew Gregory here, host of Hooked on Wild Waters. I cannot wait to share with you what we're going to do on today's episode. We're on the Saluda River, part of the Congaree River system in South Carolina, and it is freezing cold, freezing cold. Brian Latimer of the FLW Tour, tell us a little bit about the weather we've had lately.
Man, it's been really cold. The last 2 or 3 days, we've had weather in the 20s. It's only getting in the 40s. The wind's blowing a lot. But prior to that, we've had weather in the 70s and 80s, and all of a sudden you decided to do a kayak show.
That's right.
In 20-degree weather.
Hey, we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice the same way you don't have a choice when you go fishing. You just got to go when you got the time, right? We have no idea what's going to happen with the bite. The water's probably still going to be warm. So I'm excited to actually see, and we can learn this is cool. It's a little bit different than normal.
Right, it's going to be still good fishing. You know, I don't really get to fish rivers this time of the year, this early in the season. I grew up river fishing, so I'm really excited to see what's going to bring itself out there. There's a lot of fish in this river. We already seen some jumping out there, so I'm ready to get out there and see what happens.
And I cannot wait to talk more about the FLW Tour and what you guys do in the lake, and maybe we'll get a chance to actually get out there and check it out.
Right, the bass is a bass, so we're going to get out here and see if I can bring some of those skills that I use on the FLW Tour right here on the Saluda River.
Right now, let's do it.
All right.
So one of the issues we know we're facing is this severe cold front, and you know, the water is still warm though. That's what's surprising. We feel the shock as humans. We feel it. All of a sudden it was in the 70s and 80s, and then the next thing you know, it's 22 degrees when we launch. We feel it, but you know what? Water takes longer to heat and cool. Therefore, the fish don't feel it quite as fast as we do. So I wasn't surprised when I threw that chatterbait and let it just slow roll down there and thump some wood. Next thing you know, wham, right off the bat, fish on. It's gonna be an awesome day. There's a little known secret with longtime fishermen that the biggest fish tend to bite on the weirdest weather days. And to me, this was one of those situations, like maybe we're gonna get that big fish today, or at least get into more solid ones like this first one. You know, so even though the weather is really cold, the temperature is cold outside, the water is still warm. That's what we're saying. The fish are still gonna be aggressive because, hey, it's March, the days are getting longer, there's more sunlight. They just know now is the time to feed. We've got a couple nice fish already. Brian's on some fish. We're catching fish. This is gonna be an awesome day, man. Right off the ramp, I can't believe this. Look at this baby. 21 inches long, about 4.5 pounds, nice fish. Let's just smash that chatterbait in about 6 foot of water. We got a 56-degree water, 55, 56, so, I mean, to me, it's gonna be on, right, Brian? It's gonna be good. I like to get some more like this and maybe one a lot bigger. All right, beautiful fish, super healthy. There she goes. See ya. All right, we got a long way to go. We better get going.
Fishing from a kayak can be a little challenging, also because you set down, so you can't have a good vantage point of all the stumps and the eddies, but Fishing from a Jackson kayak, they're super stable. They fish really well, very similar to my bass boat. So I can stand up, I can make very accurate casts, skip my jig under those laydowns, the overhanging trees, and I can just really stand up and see all of the little eddies. I can see all of the stumps, to see all of the laydowns that were submerged under the water, and that's the key to catching the fish on the river this morning.
You know, the crazy thing about fishing wild waters is that they're exactly that, they're wild. And you see how many trees are falling in the water and the current is swift. It's very dangerous. And most people get into kayak fishing as a fisherman first. And then, you know, really they watch videos online about kayak fishing and it's all about the fishing. But no one, you know, raise your hand right now, I know this is you. Have you ever watched any videos on YouTube about kayaking, how to become a better paddler? You know, I mean, if you can learn to become a better paddler, you're gonna be able to read the water better. If you can read the water, you're gonna control your kayak better. It's all about boat positioning. And then you're also gonna be able to tell where the fish live because they hide in those current breaks, the same ones that we often use as paddlers to find, to move our way around the river and avoid those obstacles. So, hey, watch some paddling videos every once in a while. I'm telling you, you're gonna catch more fish if you do. One of the cool things about fishing with Brian is the fact that he's a little bit opposite in style. You know, I like to throw big baits and just kind of power fish my way down. But he's really good in clear water and smaller baits. So we're using different tactics to really figure out what the fish are doing. And I got this big Project Z, you know, 1/2 ounce chatterbait on with a big 6-inch swimmers because this time of year, those fish that are pregnant, they're actually eating just like, you know, a woman who's pregnant. She's just pounding anything she can, has these cravings like, oh, I need donuts now. Doesn't matter, 3 in the morning. That's the way these fish are, right? And so they're gonna eat something big when it passes them, and that's what they want. You know, they gotta feed the babies because they're gonna spawn real soon. Fish on, fish on, fish on. Yeah, they're on, man. They're heating up. The weather's warming up. It's not a bad fish at all. It's on the chatterbait, yep. Bring it right here. Here we go. Yeah! It's no monster, but I'll take it. It's a nice little 16, 17. Not bad at all. Gives us the optimism, right, for the rest of the day. All right, let her go. Let's go catch some more. I like it. They're hitting aggressive stuff, like chatterbaits. As we make our way down the river, we continue to find fish here and there, and generally they're kind of all stacked up together, which is typical of, you know, winter, early spring. They can still be kind of stuck in one area because temperature is so important to these fish. So they want to be where the water is warm, and that's where the forage is, and they just feel more comfortable and more active in the warm water. So we're hitting a few here and there, especially around wood or a mud bank that's a little bit calmer, because that calmer water does warm up a little quicker than the swift water in the middle.
All right, it's a beautiful little fish we caught here. You can see how dark and healthy that fish is. I caught that fish on a 3-inch minnows. I've caught so many fish over the years on that bait. I've caught saltwater species, redfish, trout. I've caught everything on largemouth, spotted bass, but just slow rolling it by some of those laydowns on the river. I can't tell you how many times I wish I had a fish this size to fill out my limit in tournaments before. May look like a small one to you guys, but I'd love to have it on tournament day someday for sure.
You know, Brian had a great idea, a midday lake sesh on his amazing Ranger bass boat that he uses on tour. Now, how many times do you get to step into an FLW, you know, bass boat? And I'm putting him in my Jackson Kayak Coosa HD, so what a perfect way for me to experience his element.
So, you know, I've fished all of my life, and you know, we're here on Lake Greenwood today. And like I mentioned before, this is not home lake, but I fished a lot. I spent a lot of time here. My dad was a tournament fisherman, and that's kind of where I got the bug for fishing, and the competition side of the sport is from my dad fishing club tournaments and small, we call them fruit jar tournaments, where everybody puts, you know, $30, $40 in a hat, and whoever catches the biggest 5 fish, you know, wins the money. So I grew up fishing on this lake, and last year I had the opportunity to actually fish professionally. So I took advantage of that opportunity, and this year has been my second year on tour. I had a fairly decent first year on tour, and 2017 is my second year on tour. It's been fun, you know, so far. Something I've always wanted to do. I'm super excited about the opportunity and the chance to actually do it, because so many people want to do it, but they just, the opportunity never presents itself, and I get to be one of those lucky people that actually has a chance to try it.
That is so much fun.
So after hitting a couple of places that I fished over the years on Lake Greenwood, we decided to load up and head to the dam and meet one of my friends, TJ, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what they do at the Greenwood Dam.
Hey guys, my name's TJ Hallman. I'm the plantation manager here at the Territories. We're helping out all we can with Hooked on Wild Waters here on Lake Greenwood and the Saluda River. And what we've got going on in the background is, this is a hydroelectric portion of Lake Greenwood. It feeds the Saluda River, which in turn feeds Lake Murray. And these guys are working on what's called the aeration channel line. Lake Greenwood has very shallow thermocline due to high water temperatures and shallow depths throughout the summer. And they actually pump pure oxygen throughout this aeration line into the water to make sure when it goes through the hydroelectric portion of the dam, there's oxygenated water in the river system. So pretty cool to be out here fishing on either side of the dam. And these guys are actually making sure that everything in the river, come summertime and low oxygen levels, gonna be good to go.
So after we spent a little bit of time out on Lake Greenwood, we decided to head back to the river. I had a little daytime warming, you know, the sun's gotten high now. It's actually warming up to the mid-50s, so I'm thinking the action on the river is going to be really good. So I'm ready to get back to the river and see what we can catch out there.
So one of the things we've been talking about are how bass are the same. Lake, river, it doesn't matter, they're ambush predators. And they can ambush behind, you know, a piece of structure, but sometimes they ambush in something that's not really structure. It could be shade, or in this case, we're right here at the mouth of a creek and it's a mud line. You got muddy water mixing with clear water, and those small fish will kind of want to hide in this sometimes, and the clear water will mix in. Next thing you know, it kind of exposes them, and the big fish can sort of hide in it as well, and then bam, ambush. So Brian's gonna catch one right here, aren't you?
That's absolutely right.
Prove my point.
I mean, sure. It just makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, just go ahead and catch one. Get that out of the way.
That's right.
You show people how awesome this is.
Yeah, but don't forget, it doesn't have to be just a solid object, structure or ambush point. Sorry, it could be shade, mud, many different things.
I'm sorry, I know I'm totally jacking you up, but you just keep going.
Oh, there we go.
Oh God, I saw that one hit.
Yeah, you smashed it. That's a good.
That's a big one too, man. That's a big one.
Oh, it's a gar, it's a bowfin or something.
Yeah, I think you got a bowfin.
I got a bowfin.
Yeah, that is. I'll let you take that one off. Go ahead and lift that one and show it to the camera, please. This
is definitely another just ferocious predator in the river. So many different species live in rivers. It's incredible. This is a bowfin. It's actually very prehistoric looking fish, and it can live almost through anything. It's almost like a cockroach, right? You know, it just survives in any place, anywhere, low oxygen, doesn't matter. But hey, you never know what you're gonna catch in wild waters. Thought I had the big one, but hopefully we're still gonna get one downstream, a big largemouth, which is what we're after. Always checking that depth, using the old Ray Marine. Been catching fish shallow and deep. I'm trying to keep my bait in this sort of 4-foot range, so if something living in 8 foot, 7 or 8 foot can see it, and something living in 1 or 2 foot, foot of water can also see it. Fish on, feels like a good one. Ooh. Solid fish, just more solid fish, one after another. There we go. All right, the clouds came out, but they're still biting, so.
All right, it's a fatty.
If these fish are biting, certainly as we move downstream, we're going to get into a bigger one eventually. I hook into the second, big fish, the second 4.5 pound bass. Oh, fish on. Oh yeah. Feels like a good fish too. Yep, chatterbait. Let me see here, just show your felt. Yeah, it is, not a bad fish. Oh yeah, it's a good fish, man. Stay down, stay down. Stay down. Chatterbait. Ah, there we go, woohoo! Nice. This is what it's all about right here, and they get a lot bigger than this one, believe it or not. This is a very healthy fish, a healthy fishery here. She smashed the chatterbait with the swimmers on the back, as you can see here. Such a good bait. Pre-spawn, they want to eat a lot. They want a big meal. These are pregnant females. This one right here looks like it's female. Man, what a fish. Well, Brian, we had a wild and crazy adventure down the river, and we proved, right, that despite the cold, we can still catch them and get, matter of fact, 5 very solid big fish. I mean, you'd like those in any tournament, right?
That's without a doubt. We caught a couple 4-pounders today, and anywhere I go in the country, you don't throw back 4-pounders very often at all. So
sir.
Definitely was a good day. Anytime, this is northern strains, largemouth, so they bite. When it's cold, it doesn't really affect them that way.
Yeah, we found the pattern. You just had to find the calmer water, which is in the sun. It was warming up a little more, just kind of slow rolling later. Actually, we're kind of getting pretty aggressive. So it just goes to show, when you got to go fishing, you got to go fishing. Get out there in the water any time of year, get in the kayak where you can access these wild places, and you can see by doing this like you and I just did today, that's why we're hooked on wild waters.
Drew Gregory's Hooked on Wild Waters has been brought to you by River Bassin Tournament Trail. No egos, just fun. Jackson Kayak, we make fun. GoPro, be a hero. Bending Branches, pretty, smart paddles. Orion Coolers, never lose your cool. 13 Fishing, make your own luck. Z-Man Lures, the science and art of fishing.